Hi, everybody. It's Tanya Smith here with Stream Like a Boss TV. Tonight, we're going to be just talking about some questions and answers that I found myself indulging in over the last few weeks. There's been several questions that have come into my inbox, so I want to try to answer those here, even though I've answered the people individually as well, just to make sure that if you can benefit from the answers and the outcome for your business and for your live streams and for video marketing in general, maybe it will be helpful to you. So excited to do that. I love it. Scott Benedict in the house. Let me say this for those of you who are brand new. If you've never watched my show before, this is Stream Like a Boss TV. We're on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S., and typically what we're here to talk about is a particular topic. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes we don't, but we're talking about topics that have to do with video marketing. And specifically what I want to help you to do is to leverage video. That means embracing your face on camera so that you can stand out online, serve more people, and sell more of your services. And so tonight, we're going to do something a little different. I'm just going to open it up for Q&A because I do not have a structured training or like a programmatic type of episode this time, and we don't have a guest, but I am excited about answering your questions. So I do have some questions that have already been submitted, but if you have anything that you want to know about, I want you to share that too in the chat. I am here live. It's Thursday, so I'm here. And I'm going to recognize and acknowledge two groups of people that often show up to this show. One is my OGs. So if you have been watching this show for some time, if you've ever been here before, you are now officially family, and we want to welcome you and acknowledge you. So type in hashtag OG. Yes. And if you are brand new to this space and you've never been here before, you're going to type in hashtag newbie. And if you're watching the replay, you can still type in either category that you fall into, but we're glad you're here. So let me acknowledge really quickly here, because I know I have an OG in the house who is also a stream boss. It's wonderful to have you here, Scott. And I'm also going to do a couple of things right now that will be helpful. I see a newbie in the house, Kiki. Awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let me pop your comment up as well. Look, this is going to be a little bit fun, and here's why. This is not my typical, like I said, structured program where we have everything, flowing in a certain way. This is really for you. Like, I showed up tonight because I said, hey, I don't have necessarily an outline, but I do want to say hello and make sure that I'm there for my people. So look, if you've got questions, put them in here. The other thing I'm going to be doing tonight is I'm testing out some new graphics. I'm going to talk about a few apps that are top of mind. We're just going to have a hodgepodge of stuff tonight. So I am using, in case you don't know this, and Kiki, this will be for you and for other newbies that are showing up. What's up? An absolute wonder in the house. OG. One of the things that I'm going to do that's going to be kind of exciting is I'm going to walk you through some new scenes and graphics that I've got here for Ecamm Live. So the platform that I'm using to broadcast live into YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, in multiple spots in Facebook, and maybe on Twitter. I think I'm on Twitter tonight as well. But the platform I'm using is called Ecamm Live, which is one of the most amazing platforms out there to do live streaming and all kinds of other stuff. So I will share with you some of the different scenes and things that I was able to. I purchased some and I've created some that will be a part of this live stream tonight because I wanted to test them out and see how they do. So we'll do that too. And again, if you do have questions, just holler because I'm paying attention in the chat. All right. Yes, it is. And look, I knew Scott is going to say this all day long because Scott is a big fan of Ecamm Live, as I am. One of the things that I do want to share with you, if you don't know about Ecamm, is that it is for Mac users only. So if you are not a Mac user, you won't be able to use it. But there are other platforms that I do talk about in my show. So I talk about StreamYard and I talk about Restream. I actually have the StreamYard duck over here. You can't see him. He's down here somewhere. But I love so many of the different communities that have been built around live streaming, y'all. So if you do have questions about any of those, just let me know. I love to answer questions. All right. Yep. An absolute wonder. Mac baby. I know. Hashtag Mac baby. Okay. And yep, Dan is already in the house asking that question. There's some things we need to talk through. A few of the AppSumo apps. I'll definitely do that. I'll share some of the ones that I think were wins. I won't bash any of the ones that I think I had to return, but I'll share some that I definitely think were winners. What's up, Tatiana Teaches? I love you so much. I cannot wait for us to see each other again this year. We're going to be seeing each other, I'm sure, at camp. Okay, so, and before that, before I go any further, Tatiana, I need to reach out to you because I need you on the show. Okay, Prism Live is free and available on Windows. Thank you for saying that. I forgot about that. So, yeah, there are so many different options when it comes to streaming platforms. If you haven't seen, look, whatever it is you're using, if you have a PC, if you have a Mac, if you have something that we don't know about, there's probably a live streaming platform for you out there. I actually have a freebie, and I need to make sure I put the link together. So I'll do this. I'll add this link to my resources page within the next 24 hours. So if you go to streamlikeaboss.tv, that's my main website. Here, let me pull this up real fast for you. It's my main website. And what I want you to do, if you don't know which platform to use, I have a resources page here that's going to be full of both free and paid resources. So let me pull it up so you can see this, because I want to make sure you know that it's there, okay? So it's right here at streamlikeaboss.tv is where you're going to go, okay? And you'll go to the resources page, and it's going to take you to my typical resources, the ones that I like to share the most, okay? So check that out within the next 24 hours, and I'll make sure to pop in a link to the free webinar where I talk about how to choose your streaming platform. And so Prism Live is fairly new to me. Like, I don't know anything about that specific one, but I know Scott, who is one of our Stream Bosses Academy members. Scott is familiar and has said that it is free and that it is a decent program. So it's available for Windows as well. Now, Dan, I'm not going to put that up because I know we have fans in the audience that love OBS. So OBS is also another free program. Absolutely, Tatiana, because we need some real hugs, like real people hugs. All right, y'all. Let's see. So I want to start because Dan, my buddy, asked this question about apps. We could probably spend all night on that, but I won't do that. Oh, and by the way, Scott says Prism Live, it's Prism. If you're in YouTube, you probably are seeing his comments there. Prism Live is relatively new with more features built in. It's based on OBS. OBS has a little bit of a learning curve, y'all. So if you're not familiar with how to use OBS and you're interested in using it because it is a free platform, Learn Live Streaming with John Lacey is a channel on YouTube, and he goes through all the different features and functionality of OBS. I don't include that in my choosing your best platform spiel. So in the webinar that you'll see from me, it's going to have Restream, StreamYard, maybe Melon app, which is now called Streamlabs something, some Talk Studio. They made it really difficult for you to remember. There's also OneStream Live. There's also vMix. There's an abundance of platforms. So if you need help in choosing one, just holler, okay? All right. And there's Learn Live Streaming with John Lacey anyway. So he just popped up. I just mentioned your name, so I bet your ears were burning, as my grandma used to say. I love it. This is just open chat time, y'all. We're just going to hang out tonight. I do want to talk about some apps. I do want to share a couple of different things that are coming up. I want to hear from you about what's coming up on your plate, and also share answers to common questions that have come into my inbox in the last few weeks. Okay, so I will do that. What's up, tech troublemaker in the house? It's Roy. Roy. Look, these are all the amazing people. It's a bunch of incredible people that are here inside of this chat. So if you're not here, if you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, you probably are missing out on some of the commentary that's going on over on YouTube. I'm just saying. So YouTube's channel is at Tanya Smith, or you can type in Stream Like a Boss over on YouTube and you'll pull me up there. Okay, awesome. Giant Slayer, what's up? What's up? I love it. You guys are just, you make me feel like this is worthwhile coming in. And that's going to be, I need to answer a question around that because someone asked, one of the common questions that we're going to cover had to do with that exact thing. Like, how do you get started and stay focused and stay consistent when you don't have support, when you don't have engagement and interaction? Because look, it's not going to be like that all the time, nor will it typically be that way when you're at the beginning stages of your live streaming. And that's okay. I want to encourage you to keep going and to get started in the first place. So we're going to talk through that. What's up, Alicia? You know what? You are looking great. You are looking great, as always. I'm loving the hat. Thank you for showing up and for being here. Hashtag OG, I know for you. Love it, love it. Everybody that's here, you're all family, including those of you who are newbies, if this is your first time. So let me do it in this order. Here's what I'm going to do. I want to do at least 3 things. I want to definitely answer the common questions and questions that you are sharing here. If you have strategy questions, questions about content marketing, video, you name it, I want to answer those. I want to showcase some of my new scenes and graphics, thanks to Livestreaming Pros, because I think they're really awesome. So I'm going to show those. And then I'm also going to talk about apps. So to Dan's question about what are we missing? And I know I am such an appaholic that I literally created a podcast called App Therapy Club, which I'm about to do some new scenes or episodes for. I had to take a break because I was focusing on relaunching streamlikeaboss.tv, that website, and the programs. But I'm going to be coming back to that because I absolutely love any type of apps that are going to help you to be more efficient, that can fit into your workflow, and help you to generate a profit with your business or help you to promote a cause, right? I want you to be able to do that effectively. And so I love being able to share apps that can help you to do those things. Yeah. And as John says, admitting you have a problem is the first step to getting app therapy. It's so true. It is so true. Okay. So what order should we do this in? Here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to do this. First, I'm going to walk you through a couple of my fun and neat looking little scenes. And I will come back to the questions that you're going to see on some of the scenes. And then we'll talk about apps last, because apps is probably going to take us all the way to the end. I just know myself. Like you said, first step is admitting. Oh, and I see a question about apps too. All right. Stacy said, show us the graphics. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I need to do that. Okay. So we'll do that first. Okay. So right now, and especially if you're not used to Ecamm, here's one of the reasons why I love it, because you can literally create whatever you want. It's kind of like I feel about GoBrunch, which is another app that I use, or a platform and a space for community building that I use, where I love anything that's going to give me the ability to not only stand out, but to really creatively express myself in a way that is unique to my brand, lets me showcase who I am, what I'm all about, so that I can make that connection with the people who are right for me. And that's what you should be thinking about too, is how can I create an environment and an experience for other people to where they know when they see that thing, it's like, oh, that's Kiki right there. Oh, that's Tatiana right there. Like when they see stuff that represents you, then they know it's you. They recognize you and the brand. And so when people, for instance, see the pink, right, this raspberry pink that I use in almost everything I do, they recognize that, oh, that's Tanya's show. Okay. So I'm going to show you some of the scenes that I'm now going to be using and incorporating into a few of my different, what they call profiles. Okay. In Ecamm. And I think these are fun. Well, first, I'm going to give you the boring ones that I already had. So you can do, for instance, let me do this to make sure we have something good for you to look at and not a messy desk. Screen share. So I can pop up a screen share and anybody can do this. We can change out our backgrounds. So, we can make those multidimensional. You can get and buy graphics from people, or you can actually create your own inside of something like Canva, right? I know you always use pink hearts for me. Yay, Tatiana. Notice how I'm also moving these comments. I can do that here inside of Ecamm to ensure that each of the scenes, like it looks good, right? Okay, so I can do a big screen share with my face on the side. So this is one of the, I'm not going to say new. I actually kind of have this one, but I'm just walking you through a few of the scenes and I'm going to get to the new ones in just a second because those are going to be fun. I can have comments right here where I'm actually popping up my comments and I have a banner scrolling across the screen. So I do this probably more frequently than the ones that you're seeing me do right now, right? So I can pop up, let's see, we know we're going to have a question coming in from Tech Troublemaker. Usually I'll fix that background and make sure it looks really nice. And for those of you who are Ecamm fam, you already know all these things. So I'm doing this walkthrough mainly for the folks who don't know. I can also do this right here. Oh, okay. So I did want to show y'all, this is our foster. This is the dog we've been fostering named Max. He's a German Shepherd. And we truly, truly, truly love him. But we did get a call this afternoon that he might be getting adopted. So I'm kind of sad about that. But the reason why I wanted to show this to you is to say, why is it doing that? There we go. The reason why I wanted to show you this scene is because you can also connect your Mac to your iPhone, and then you can have a display like what you see right here. So I've got my iPhone popping up on screen, which is kind of cool if there's something that you wanted to demo. So if you wanted to demo, for instance, how to do something on your phone. I know, Scott and Kiki, yeah. Why is it doing this to me right now with all this big stuff? Hold on. I'm going to fix this really fast. Yes, he is a beauty, Kiki. And I'm very, I think we're all going to be sad tonight. But this is why you foster. You foster so that you can take care of these babies until they find a home. And so someone loving, hopefully, we'll find out tomorrow, will be taking him in permanently. Yeah, I know, Dan. We foster failed on our last two. And I really thought it was possibly going to happen with this one, but he does have some quirks. I think he's been through some things, some trauma over the last, he's only a year old, but I think he's been through some trauma. I think there's been some things that have happened because there's things like he's really afraid of stairs, afraid of water. There's things that tell me that he's been through something. So we've been loving on him for the past week, and I knew somebody probably was going to try to scoop him up because he is beautiful and just such a sweet and kind, compassionate dog. So we will miss him. I know. Yeah, foster success for me. Chocolate Quilt says he needs a quilt. He has one too. He lays on one at night. That's where we keep him. We keep him because he cries at night too. Like he does not want to be alone. So he has a lot of separation anxiety, but he's a beautiful one. I just wanted to show you this to show you the mobile. So you can do this iPhone view if you wanted to do something like that, which is really cool. You can do a zoom in where you're zooming in on your face. So I can zoom in, I can pan out. You can like really zoom in like this. which I would not do, but some people probably do. And then here's the new ones. Here's some of the new ones. So I love these. I will come to these questions in a few minutes, but because of the perspective feature that's now been added in Ecamm, you can actually change the perspective. So see how things are at an angle? So I actually bought these graphics from the folks over at Livestreaming Pros, and I will pop up their link here shortly. It's not an affiliate link, but it is a link to my friend Luria Petrucci's channel and her show, or her store, so that you can see it. I know, isn't this cool? It's super cool. And you can make sure that the colors are effectively the brand colors of your choice. So look, I can pop up these lists. You can have them on either side. These colors are already perfect because this is what I use. Like, these are my main colors. I had to change slightly the hex code, but you've got longer versions of the perspective. Look at this. I mean, these are pretty cool. Now, if you don't want perspective, you also have the ones that have, like, they're just flat, okay, which still is great for list build or list generation, and for sharing a list, a bulleted list of questions or items and points as you're talking about them, instead of you having to actually create slides in Keynote, PowerPoint, or Google Slides. So now you can actually use these right inside of your Ecamm, which I think is fantastic. This makes things really simple when I'm doing keynotes. I'm just going to come in here and probably change some of these. I may still use a few slides to emphasize statistics and that type of thing, but this is super easy. And I love the look, and it's clean and it's streamlined. And yeah, I think it's pretty neat. Okay, here's a couple of other ones that are also really cool. I love these. Okay, so watch this. Check this out. Let me unmute myself, but you can actually have these type of overlays. Thank you, Tatiana. We'll see you next time. Hugs. You can actually create these overlays and actually talk behind an overlay scene, or you can have music going and have the words up on scene. I know, right, Scott? Isn't this cool? And here's another one. So, of course, I'm going to pop up Stream Boss. So you could be talking behind this one, or you could put music on, and this could be your opening scene, or it could be a transition scene. There can be any number of things that you can do with this one. This one is where you're emphasizing a specific word. So it's called a single word overlay scene. But look, all of this has been created inside of Ecamm. What about this one? So you've got a quote scene that they've added here as well. I'm just loving all the options and ways that I can actually showcase information simply by using these very streamlined slides. I am loving them. And this is where I got my editable template. So in case you didn't know about livestreamingpros.com/store, this is where I got these latest and greatest scenes that I'm now using in my live stream. So love it. And let me come back here. Okay. So how cool is that? I just wanted to make sure I shared that with you. So that was my first thing. I wanted to make sure to share with you the designed scenes, which are very nice. And you can brand them again according to your own color scheme and all of that. So I promised that I would walk through some of the common questions. I'm going to talk about apps. I'm going to answer your questions that are here in the chat. Yeah, I agree, Stacy. It makes for a super easy intro or preview. Yeah. Yeah. So you just add a little music, and then you have those blurred out, you're blurred in the background. Maybe you're dancing to the music, or maybe not. Maybe you're talking like I was. Maybe it is a transitional scene between, different parts of your workflow for your live stream, for your run of show. So to give you an example, maybe it would be like if I am initially getting ready to introduce my new guest. And so I'm talking about their bio and I'm saying all the nice things. And then I have the overlay pop up with their name on it. And then we transition over into the scene with the two of us. who does, you can do anything you want with these. So I love that I'm able to support other streamers who are creating amazing graphics. And yes, I create some of my own as well using platforms like Canva and Adobe. But if other people have created amazing scenery that I can leverage, then I'm by all means going to do that and save some time and just put it together in a way that is creative and right for me. So you always have that option. And this is one of the things that I do love about Ecamm Live. Yeah. Yes, yes. When you're live and you're doing the scene transitions, what that does is it helps with disruption. And you want to disrupt your scene. So you don't want to have the same, just you talking head all the time, because what can happen is people will end up getting bored or they may turn away. So you want to have different things going throughout your different scenes as you're doing a live stream that help to disrupt the flow and to keep the attention of the people who are watching. Yes, Stacey, I can see it as you can use a countdown with it as well. That's absolutely right. Okay. So I am going to, Scott, that's for your board and your trainings. Yep. Yep. Some of those scenes I showed would work very well with Scott's stuff, with Scott's content. I've seen some. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to go through and answer some questions that are in here too. Thank you, John Lacey. Max is a cutie. I know. I'm going to miss him. And Ecamm is my jam too, tech troublemaker. It is the jam. Dan, long live you, sir. Okay, questions to answer. So I'm going to answer the questions that are in the chat first, I think. So I'm going back through. Let me check on Max real quick. Callie, can you check on Max? I think he may need to go outside. Okay. Sorry, I heard a tail slapping a wall. I was like, yeah, bathroom. Okay. What app am I using for captions? Okay. And if anyone else has questions like this, like I said, this is open time. So definitely lovely to see you too, John Lacey. So thank you. What I am using right now, I guess I need to start with some apps too. Ooh, and Dan, I'll pop that up in a second. So it's interesting that you asked that question, Roy, because I literally just last night went through my entire repurposing process with the Academy members. So I walked them through the 10-step process that I go through after my live streams. And because I finally gotten it down to a science and more consistent, and now this is what I will be using moving forward. And one of the very first things, and this is for the benefit of folks who don't understand or haven't been really leveraging the power of video and live streaming, but also to answer Roy's question. One of the first steps that you're going to take is to transcribe your video, because that transcription is gold. You now have nuggets of content that you can turn into all forms of things. And one thing I haven't shared with you all, but I will share with you right now, and I'll share more in our next live stream more officially. But I have become an ambassador, a content ambassador for Cast Magic, which is one of my favorite platforms and tools. And they give you the ability to be able to take that transcript. So it automatically transcribes your content. And that's one of the ones that I use, Roy. Transcribes my content by simply just pasting the YouTube link. And once it transcribes that content, and I'll show you really fast what it can look like, it can change that transcript into multiple formats for you. So let me see if I can do a quick screen share on that so you can see why I'm using this. And I will do a more dedicated video about this very soon. Okay. Yeah, I'll pull this one up. I use it for all kinds of things too. So when you're ready to actually transcribe, what you do basically is you go into Cast Magic and you say, hey, import, and then I'm going to paste my YouTube link right here. and then it's going to process that link. And if you have other formats that you want to pull in here, so Vimeo, Reels, TikTok, you can do that as well. For me specifically, the one that I'm using is this. So when I pull this into Cast Magic and it creates that transcript for me, it also then can create other forms of content by the power of AI. So artificial intelligence is programmed in here according to the different types and pieces of content that I want to create. So I can create from a single transcript. I can get a better SEO friendly YouTube description, keywords, timestamps for my chapters in the YouTube video, quotes, hooks, email newsletter, key topics and bullets, a carousel that I can use on Instagram, you name it. I can do all these different things with it. And so I am a big supporter and promoter of Cast Magic right now because it can do all of that from a single transcript. A second tool that I will tell you I use if you're not ready to invest in a subscription. And by the way, I do have affiliate links. If anybody needs it, just let me know and I can pop it into the chat. I probably should have had some of those ready, but I didn't know what your questions would be. However, a second one that is free. So for those of you who are like, hey, I don't want another subscription right now, if you want something free, you can use a Chrome extension that is called, let me find it. And Stacy and Scott will know because we just talked about this last night. It's called YouTube Summary. So I'm going to pop that up real quick here. YouTube Summary with ChatGPT and Claude. Now, it's actually on the GLASP, GLASP.co. That's it. Let me find it right there. GLASP. See that? So GLASP.co. So this YouTube Summary with ChatGPT and Claude is a super quick and easy and free way for you to actually transcribe. You just install the extension either on Chrome or on Safari. And when you then are going to your YouTube video, I'm going to show you what it'll do, which is pretty cool. Let's see, on your YouTube video, I'll pull that one. Let's stop that from working. Okay. So right here where it says transcript and summary, that's been added because I'm using that Chrome extension. And so when I click on this little button right here, it's going to automatically transcribe and follow instructions that I fed the extension. So this is another version of a tool that can help you when it comes to doing transcription. I hope I answered that question. And yeah, this is an excellent point that Dan is making. It makes it very inclusive for those who are in the disability community. So for those who are challenged and need the captions, transcriptions help because you can include those. Let's say, for instance, that you're playing your YouTube video on your blog, right? So now you can actually add the transcript there, but you can also use subtitles or what's called an SRT file and upload that into your video, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, wherever it is, to ensure that people can use the closed captions and they can see the true words that you're actually saying. Now, I know that there's an auto-generated function in most of those platforms I just mentioned. So YouTube, for instance, can auto-generate closed captions, but sometimes they don't quite interpret the words the way that you mean, or they don't spell it correctly, or there could be any number of things that are happening. So you having a transcription tool will allow you the ability to be able to make sure that you're programming the words in the way that you're saying them. I know I have a bit of a dialect, right? I'm a Southern girl, so I know this. And so there are certain times when the transcription that's done automatically by Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube doesn't show up the way that I actually said it or meant it. And so I can program a tool that's a transcription tool like Happy Scribe, Cast Magic. I can do that with those and make sure that the spelling is going to come out the way that I want it to be. So when I say stream like a boss, I want it to write out stream like a boss with caps on the front end of each word. And so I can program those platforms to do that. Okay. Let me make sure I pop this up here too, because Scott also mentioned this. If you have the lifetime for DaVinci Resolve, it will transcribe all of your videos for free, unlimited, and that makes it easy to add captions too. Yeah, Roy, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Yep, because we have accents, or as some people call them, dialect. I don't know. We have a different way of speaking, which is fine. But sometimes these tools just don't recognize maybe the words that we're saying in the way that we mean them or in the way that we're saying them. So, yeah, I think being able to use the third party tool where we can actually adjust and make sure that the words are properly, published the first time versus having to go all the way back through the entire YouTube transcript or Facebook transcript and make sure things are edited. I think that's kind of cool and time saving. Somebody else had a question. I think, let me answer a couple of questions that were the common questions I wanted to make sure to cover. And then I'm going to go to Dan's question about AppSumo, and I'll share just a few. I will pop this perspective box up. So I did have a question from someone because I've been in a lot of different rooms lately. And so there are people who are not familiar at all with live video. And then there are some who have put their toe in the water, but they still have the same question. And that is, isn't this hard? Is it hard to do? Is it hard to get started? And I know there are a lot of geniuses that are in the chat. So if you have thoughts about any of these questions, feel free to pop your own thoughts and advice in there too. But I would say that anything that you haven't done before can be, you can perceive it to be difficult to start. You have to start somewhere. So I think that if the question is live streaming hard? It was not something that was a natural thing for me to get into. It took time and consistency. It took me stretching myself in ways that I didn't know I would be stretched. It is considered a form of public speaking because you're speaking to an audience of people potentially, right, at some point who are live, and you're having to adjust and adapt to the things that they're putting into the chat. You're having to learn how to juggle the platform itself and to know when to block and what things to let through. So I'm not going to say it's hard. I'm going to say that there is a learning curve to it. If you want to do it right, and if you want to improve, just like with anything else, when you first start out, it may feel hard, but it's not impossible for you to learn or to do. Just about everybody who's in this chat is doing live streaming or has done it. So know that if you're thinking about it and if it's something that is of interest to you, you can get the support you need. You can get the help you want. A lot of my channel is full of episodes that talk about how to get started. So I would highly encourage you to definitely watch my channel, go to Livestreaming Pro's channel, go to Tatiana Teaches, go to Roy, the Tech Troublemaker. There's any number of different places that I would suggest would be helpful resources. And then, of course, we have Stream Bosses Academy, which is going to be opening back up on April 22nd. So if you haven't already checked out our free webinar, let me make sure I pop. This webinar that we're going to have coming up on next Monday, the 15th, will be an introduction into Stream Bosses. And I have a couple of other events too. So you should absolutely go right now, like run, don't walk, to this page that I'm showing right here. Okay. Because that is going to showcase a lot of the different free events that I've been doing and will be doing. And that will help you to get started if you have a question around that. Okay. Let me pop in some other comments. Yeah, it's public speaking where you're talking to a camera that feeds into people's houses. Exactly. So sometimes that will scare people. And I get it because I don't want to say afraid, but I was absolutely not gung ho about putting my face on camera. It was not something that I thought, oh, yeah, I want to do that. I can't wait to do it. But I did it because I knew that it could become an avenue for me to be able to share a message that would make an impact. And if that's something that you're feeling and you're not sure where to get started or what to say or who you need to talk to and all of that, that's where we can help you. Okay, so will people watch is the question. Will people watch? And thank you. I love that Scott put that up there. We're so glad you overcame that. Me too. It's affected me in so many different ways. It's affected my children, my daughters. They get to grow up seeing mom overcome her extreme introverted nature to speak on public stages, to speak on virtual stages, right? Yeah, because I put my toe in the water and then kept going. So the second question was, will people show up? And I can't answer a yes definitively on that. What I can say is that you may be speaking to an empty room sometimes, and that's okay. Because what that allows you to do is to practice and to make mistakes and to build up a momentum and to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. So will people show up? I think that there's a lot that can go into that question. And the way that I answer it would be to say you won't know until you try. And when you try and you know you're serious about continuing to do it, then you need to start formulating a plan. You need to think about, who do I want to talk to? What do I want to talk about? And when am I going to talk to them? The when is something that a lot of people miss, because if you're doing live streaming and you want people to show up, it's sort of like having your favorite episode or season of a show on Netflix come on. You want to know when that thing is going to be on. If it's going to be on Wednesday night at 10 p.m., then you're going to be showing up on Wednesday night at 10 p.m. because it's your favorite show. But if that same show is on infrequently, like it's sporadic and nobody can plan for it, it's less likely they're going to get the numbers of watchers that they want. And it's probably likely that you're going to miss it. So think about the when. When am I going to do this? All of those things, plus some other things, can help you to have people show up. So that's my answer there. What if no one shows up? Okay, been there too. When I first started doing live streaming, nobody was showing up. And then maybe about the third or fourth or maybe fifth time that I showed up on camera, people started coming, and people that I didn't know were watching the replays came back and said, hey, I saw your replay and I wanted to come and catch you live so I could ask some questions. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool. And then I started building, an audience of people who were repeat audience members, and they became like family, which is why at the beginning of the show, I talk about hashtag OG and hashtag newbie, because I want to acknowledge that there are different crowds of folks that are going to be here. Some are going to be returning members and some will be new. So how will you acknowledge the people? And when you don't have anyone, again, you're using that timing, you're using that season as your learning season. So keep going. Don't give up. The first 10 or so shows, you need to still be showing up for yourself so that other people will show up too. Okay. Yeah, I love this advice. Pretend the camera is your best friend, even if no one is there. Even my early live streams went to crickets and they had at least 10 replays. I'm telling you, it's true. Everything that Roy just said, the things I'm saying, other people will tell you here in this feed the same thing. It just takes time. Yes, clever and creative. And look, I don't even know that I was all that clever or creative when I showed up the first time. I think I just showed up and I just talked about what I knew and what I was passionate about. And I realized not everybody's going to be right for me, and I'm not going to be right for everybody. So I never walked in the door of live streaming saying, oh, I can't wait till I have 10,000 followers and I want to go viral. I just knew that the right people, and my mantra was right person, right message, right time. So whoever was meant to hear the message, that's who I wanted to be there. Whatever message I was supposed to share, that's what I wanted to say. And I knew that the time would eventually showcase itself because I tried a lot of different times of day when I first started because I wasn't really sure what would work for me. And the beauty of the timing is the space between where people who are in your target audience, the folks you want to talk to most, and when you are at the energy level where you can give your best, it's that marriage of those two things where you have that perfect timing. So you may have to experiment with that a little bit too. I think there was one more question here. And if any of you have questions, we're almost coming up on time. So pop your questions in the chat. Even if you're watching the replay, type in hashtag replay and I will look for your question. In a few days, I'll come back and I'll check and see. Okay, so this is, I think, the last question. How much does it cost? I get that question a lot. Like, how much does it cost me to go live? Right? How much does it cost me to go live? I'm going to answer that question, but I need to pop up chocolate quilts. Thank you. Just pure and real. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. That means everything to me. So let me give you some love, chocolate quilts, because I do appreciate you coming back and spending time with me on Thursdays. The answer to the question about how much it costs, when you first start, please, for the love of all things holy, do not go out and blow your entire paycheck on a bunch of gear. I know you see people with things, all the toys. I know this, but you literally can start simple and first make sure you get your feet wet, right? Get your sea legs, make a decision that you're committed to doing this thing, and then you can start to upscale and up level. So you really can start for free because most of the platforms out there, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, will allow you to live stream. Well, YouTube has some criteria initially, but Facebook, you can absolutely start from zero. You can start within their native apps, meaning within their platforms without using any other third-party tool. So you don't even have to pay for a subscription right up front until you know that this is something you want to do. You can literally use your phone to go live. Okay? Instagram, anybody? Facebook, you can use your phone to do that. You do not have to go out and spend a ton of money. Now, when you start getting for real, and you're doing it for your business and you want to give the perception that you are the pro that you truly are, you want people to see that, to really see that and embrace that. Yeah, you're going to upscale. And yes, you're going to make smart decisions, which is one of the things we always talk about in Stream Bosses Academy. We're going to make smart decisions about leveraging the resources and tools that you have now and then adding on to those as you need to, which I'm going to talk about some apps in just a few seconds here. So, Tech Trial. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Look, it's because I love showing up. I love that I've gotten to meet all of you. You've become family and community. And yeah, I love this too. And Dan knows this. Dan has built an amazing, incredible following, especially on LinkedIn. You can trade services and post for products. So as you build a community of people who respect you and appreciate you for the content that you share, it's invigorating. It's a validation for you that you're in the right space and doing the right thing at the right time. There is nothing like that feeling. And it will come. Yes, word up. I did that. Laugh out loud. Okay, tell me what you did. Words for Change podcast. What's up, by the way? Because I probably bypassed it. I was talking so much. I'm sorry. A lot of companies are not looking for people with 1 million followers. They're looking for people who have followers that are relevant, communities that trust you and that are relevant to what they are offering and selling. You're right. The micro influencer today that's hot. It's positioning yourself as an influencer who is communicating to an intimate community of folks who trust you. They know, like, and trust you. So when your words come out and you refer to things and you tell them, hey, I recommend this or that, people believe you. And that comes with time and with you being committed to showing up and being consistent and being reliable and all those things, right? Yeah, James Hicks can do lives from his phone. Now, he has a bunch of other tools and tricks too, because he is awesome. But yeah, it is not as hard to get brand deals as many think, and a lot of it is just asking, which Dan also knows. Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay, so words for change. I am in the house with you. Same. I did spend all the money. I did. I spent a lot of money, and this is why I can say this out loud. So you and we right here. I was like, "Ooh, I got a whole microphone graveyard in that chair." Right. But one thing I have learned, and I've learned this from other fellow streamers, is to go on sites like Swappa and some other sites too and sell my gear that I'm not using anymore. Okay. When I got clued in on that, I was like, ooh, okay, let me recycle. let me recycle, sell this thing, and then reinvest that into my business. Hello. So yeah, there are ways that we can be forgiving, forgiving ourselves, because we're going to learn from the mistakes we make and we're going to grow from them and sometimes make money from those mistakes too. I love it. Okay. Oh, it's called Swappa. SWAPPA is the site. Let me see if I can pull that up for you, Chocolate Quilts. Swappa.com. Here, I'm going to show it to you right now. Since we're just talking about any and everything, here you go. This is one of the sites that I was turned on to, where you can go and you can actually sell some of your gear. There are other sites as well, but like I said, this is the one that was top of mind for me. We need to do another show to talk about those sites. So I will focus on that. And I have the perfect person I need to ask to get on stage with me to do that. So give me time to set that up. I will do that. Okay. So apps, we want to talk a little bit about apps before we close out. So if there are specific apps that you have in mind, let me know. I will tell you my number one favorite app right now, which I did find on AppSumo, which is no longer on AppSumo. I'm sorry, but I am going to share one AppSumo thing with you. My favorite one is the Sessions app. Sessions, y'all, is life. So at the time that I initially learned about Sessions, it was right around that time when Zoom was having a bunch of media. There was a bunch of talk about Zoom and their commitment to AI and not getting your permission. And there was a bunch of fluff about that. Okay. They've made a comeback from that, mind you, and they've made some changes. But at that time, I started looking for another possibility. I was like, hey, I need a platform where I have control over my privacy and I have, new features, because I'm actually tired of Zoom. A lot of people had Zoom overwhelm at that point. And so I ended up finding Sessions on an AppSumo. And let me show y'all a little taste of Sessions. I do have a YouTube video about Sessions. If you go to my channel, if you're on YouTube right now, if you do a search for Sessions, Sessions, you'll find it. Okay. And what I'll try to do, I'll try to come back into this, particularly on YouTube, and add links to all of the resources I'm talking about so that you'll have them. Okay. But Sessions became my go-to for a number of different things, for events and webinars, so if you join my webinar, remember I showed you, I'm going to pop this up one more time in case you missed it. If you join any one of my events, they're going to be in one of two places. They're going to be in GoBrunch, just like Dan saying in the comments, GoBrunch or it's going to be on Sessions. I mean, just about every time. I am leveraging the heck out of these two apps because they have been life changers for me. Sessions. I'm going to see if I can just pull up. I want to be careful. I'm not showing any information that I do not want to reveal or show. So, because I do have client strategy sessions and that type of thing in this workspace as well. But let me see what I can show you. Okay. So I'm going to show you. Yeah, Scott, right? Scott says me too. I mean, I love, 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 love. I know. Dan said, you bring up the one I already got. I'm going to give you one in just a second, I promise. But let me show you this one first. Okay. So this is Sessions. And inside of Sessions, you're able to create new meetings. You can schedule a session for later on. You can have events, webinars, or workshops. There's all kinds of things you can do in here. You can create room links so that you have a room link for any specific type of thing that you're doing. So for instance, I have a quick start room. I've got a coffee and collaboration chat room. So when I'm meeting with new people, I've got rooms that are set up in here specific to this. Okay. So what I love about this is, let me show you. I'm going to just do an instant room. How about we do that? So I'll go into my coffee and collaboration room. I'm going to enter it. And I can brand this however I choose. So I can brand this with my own. It's pointing to, it's got using a different camera. So sorry about that. I can point this in whatever direction I choose to as far as the background. So notice how I've kind of created this branded black and pink background. And when people go in here into the session, I can share the room link. There is a chat, polls, Q&A, notes, so people can take their own notes. And I can't see their notes. No one else in the room can see their notes. It can transcribe using AI. There's all kinds of different features in here. I can do offer pop-ups and all kinds of stuff. This is just, I'm really high level with it, but Sessions has become my thing. This is my jam. So let me end that. Let me end that right there. But this is a spot that has really kind of changed the game for me in terms of different meetings and all the things. You can even create your own booking calendar in there so that people can go to your booking calendar, and do strategy sessions or whatever else that you're promoting. Now, they just opened up a function of live streaming. I don't know that I'm necessarily ever going to use live streaming in there because I love Ecamm. But they're working on new features all the time. They listen to their people. It has been an amazing option for folks who are looking for a platform to replace Zoom. The other one I use is GoBrunch, which is on AppSumo right now. And I do have links for all this stuff, y'all, but since I didn't know in advance what we're going to talk about, I didn't prepare them, but I can pop those into the description a little later tonight. The AppSumo deal that I'll share with you, this is for Dan, who was getting on me just now. I'm going to share this, but I'm going to tell you, I don't have personal experience with it yet. However, there are some folks that are in our community that have recently purchased it, so I'm going to ask them. And by the way, Dan, it looks like the deal ends in 13 days. So in a couple weeks. This is called Minvo, Minvo. Why should you look at this? It's because this specific thing, this app, apparently will take your long form videos and turn them into repurposable clips for reels, shorts, etc. Now, again, I don't personally endorse this one yet because I have not used it. I use currently Video AI, so VIDYO AI, and I use Opus Clip. I do not use Minvo yet, but I've heard some things about it, and I'm hearing good things from one of my members in particular who is just loving it. She says her team loves it because it's super easy to use, but this may be one for you to check out, Minvo. I know, Dan, tied to Opus. Yep. So that is one. Another thing I would highly recommend you do if you come to my event, and you know what? It's not going to be on there today, tomorrow, in 24 hours. I will have this up, I promise. But I'm going to show you my screen again. So remember I said to go to streamlikeaboss.tv to events, that link I've been sharing a couple of times today. If you go in here, you will see that I have an event coming up on the 26th of April. So the 26th of April right here. This will be our open house, and I'm using the GoBrunch platform. GoBrunch is amazing, and you absolutely want to be thinking about this because it creates these different experiences. Again, I mentioned to you earlier, to me, when I'm building a community, it is always about the idea of creating an experience that is unique to our people, the folks that are a part of that space. I want them to feel a certain type of way. I want them to have a really positive experience. I want it to be the rooms and the spaces I create to be an extension of who I am and what my brand is. And so GoBrunch, similarly to Sessions, gives me that capability. If you want to check it out, I'm going to actually have the founder, Richard Lowenthal, bless his heart, is going to help me to introduce the space. And so we're going to be promoting the open house very soon. On April 26th is when it's going to take place. So I will make sure I have the link so that you're able to attend. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'll pop it up right now. I can tell you, no, I won't have it right now. I'll have it on there tomorrow. And if you're on my list, which you'll see when you go to streamlikeaboss.tv, if you're on my list, you're going to get an email anyway that will have all the information. So definitely check that out. Let me do this too. I'm going to see if I can get a special link for you. I think I may have one. If I don't have it tonight, I will get it for you. Okay. But GoBrunch is currently on sale, and we'll probably talk about that on the 26th when we do our event. Yeah. Okay. I got to get a new link for you, but I'll get a link for you on that so that you have that too. Okay. I know, right, Stacy? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. And I see your note, Dan. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Okay. Opus is sponsoring your new podcast. I'm very excited for you on that. Love it. Love it. Okay. Well, yeah, this is taking us to the top of the hour, which is not a surprise because I love talking to you. I love answering questions. I'm so glad that we got a chance to do a sneak peek of a few things. I appreciate the hearts and all of that, all of the love in there. If you have questions, if there's anything that I missed tonight, I will come back and make sure that I answer. So please don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to come back and hang out with me. Remember that I have personally invited you, if you're watching this, to go to this event's link and get connected. We have a free webinar coming up, y'all. I'm going to be talking about funnels, video sales funnels, and the mistakes that you're making. So if you're doing live streams right now and somehow it's not turning into a profitable venture for you, there's a reason why, and I'm going to talk you through 5 common bottlenecks that will keep it from working for you to turn into profit, okay? So come and join me on Monday the 15th. I'm still writing it, still writing the workshop, but it's going to be fun and it's going to be great. So I will see you on Monday. Thank you again for showing up tonight and for hanging out. Even though we just we're doing open Q&A and I wanted to show off a few things, I think it was fun and I hope you had fun too. And I hope you'll come back next Thursday. We will have a more structured topic for next week. Thank you too, Scott. I always appreciate you being here. Oh, you were going to be on a business trip? Tech, that's okay. It's all good, Roy. You know I'm going to have the replay up just for you, right? Kiki, thank you for being here De nada. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad that you were here and able to be with us. Hashtag newbie. I hope you'll come back. Now, when you come back, here's what you need to know. You're officially an OG after this. So next time you come, you got to put in hashtag OG because that's what you are now. You family now. So I appreciate you being here. Okay, folks, I will see you next Thursday. I will probably on Tuesday or Wednesday share with you what the topic and title will be. Thank you for being awesome as well. And I hope everybody has an amazing weekend. I hope that it stays bright and sunny for you and no bad weather. I hope that you feel loved and that you feel passionate and enthusiastic about whatever it is you're doing. And if you're not there already, jump in and get in there and do what you love, because there's nothing like that feeling of being on purpose, right? And I feel like that's what we do here. So take care, and I will see you next week in the stream.